Welcome to Santos Brothers Eat, food worth mentioning.
Where Chef Jeff and his brother Kenny talk about their amazing adventures eating and tasting food that is so incredible, they have got to just share it with the world.
My mouth is salivating already.
All right, so this is Kenny Santos for Santos Brothers Eats. I'm here with my brother Chef Jeff Santos. Together, we're your favorite Filipino foodies, and we're going to be talking about more food worth mentioning. And this type of food that we're going to talk about today could easily be a breakfast or even, like a snack or, kind of like a tea time snack or even like something that you have, I suppose, as you're watching TV, like after dinner sort of thing, you can have that as well. It is the mighty Chinese bun, right, Jeff?
Yeah, that is right.
Yeah.
And these are the Chinese bakery buns. Usually you find these like at small stores or small bakeries. Usually you don't really find them in Chinese restaurants, I don't think. I never really seen them there. Maybe on the carts, but like the steam buns that we mentioned in the dim sum episodes, we have lots of those.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever seen a baked Chinese bun. Have you, Ken?
Not a dim sum, no.
Yeah.
But you don't even have nowadays, like they're now in no frills now. So
yeah,
so you can get
that's
them,
true.
before you used to have to go to like an Asian grocery store or you have to go to like the Chinese bakeries to get them. But now there are no frills that actually, well, we'll talk about
But
the
not all of
varieties
them,
that
though,
we see
right?
them. Yeah, like I see when no frills. Obviously, you're going to get them at Asian grocery stores and other
Yeah.
places. But you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they're if they're at like super center or not super center, superstores
Superstores.
and even maybe even Walmarts. I wouldn't be surprised if they're there, just
Ugh, yeah.
because I've seen Ensaimada. Wait, who had the Ensaimada? Or was it Golden Bakery or that
It
had
was
stuff at Walmart?
that Golden Bakery.
Golden
Bakery
Bakery,
had,
yeah, Golden Bakery
yeah.
had that. So that's why I
Okay.
say I haven't seen it at Walmart. I just say I wouldn't be surprised if I see them
Right.
there. So
I've seen it no frills, but not all of them. So
no,
we'll get into the actual varieties of them. But the most popular one is the cream bun, and
yes,
that's
the cream
very
bun.
indicative. It's basically it looks like a football. In the middle, they cut down the middle. They put a nice portion of whipped cream or custard, and then they on top is like sweetened coconut, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's the most popular one I've
You
seen.
also will see them actually. Warden Station has those. The bakeries there.
Well,
They have
isn't
they're
that
making beef patties
yeah,
and then they
because
have
they're Filipino owned, aren't they?
Filipino
So,
either owned and run or that sort of thing. But
yeah. So, but why do they have Chinese
it's not
buns?
Filipino, right? But yeah, but
Okay.
serving some clientele there. Wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised. Obviously, uh, like I said, Chinese bakeries would have them,
Oh
and
yeah.
the ones that we're talking about today, especially, is Kin Kin, because Kin Kin, and that's spelled KINKIN,
hmm
and they have several locations from Asian Court Mall
Yeah.
to I used to go to the one Atrium down at Atrium in the Bay, so
Yeah.
basically downtown. You recently went to is it Sherway? Is that where it
No,
is?
it's the one at Dixie Outlet Mall
Dixie Outlet.
at
Okay,
Dixie and in Queensway, and I think the one at Agincourt Mall is the original one because if you go on their website, they mention the one in Scarborough, and if if I remember correctly, that's the only one I know that's Scarborough. So it could
gotcha.
be that.
Absolutely. I remember, Jeff's son Dylan. He likes those, and
Oh
actually,
yeah.
when he comes to visit, sometimes he makes the intention, or not the intention, but he makes plans that before he leaves, he drops by Agent Court and grabs, maybe half a dozen or a dozen buns to bring back
hmm
home. Because the nice thing about them is they're usually made fresh every day.
They
They're nice
are.
and soft, and there's these different varieties. And we're going to talk about
Yeah.
all those different varieties. If you haven't had anything, check out King Kin or put in, Chinese bakery into like, your Google Maps and try and find them. What's nice is that one, they taste good and
hmm
they're the price point is good. The price
Yeah.
point is really, really good.
Yeah.
And it's always a little treat for me. I always like to
It
have
is.
them. Don't always get to have them every day, but they're
That's the
super
thing.
good.
So the one thing
Yeah.
about those buns is that they use the same dough when baked off, and it's like a sweeter dough. So
Mhm.
again, that sort of appeals to Ken and I because we sort of like things on the sweet side. So that there's a sweet dough, and the fillings are all different. And sometimes you have to know what you're getting because they have little indications on which is the different ones.
Yeah.
So if you wanted like a barbecue pork bun, but you pick up a chicken curry bun instead, you got to reach out for which little indicators, and like it is labeled, but if you get like 10 of them and put into your bag, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, which is which,
Absolutely.
and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, well, let's try one out and see what it is.
Yeah. So if you're picky, then make sure you figure out what's what, or because there's no way of really labeling them in the store
No,
unless you just kind of, no,
yeah,
there's no
get a
way.
marker with you or something, and
Yeah, there's no way that, but they do look different, but you're going to forget. And you're going to, and we'll show you how now. Actually, why don't we start with your pictures, Jeff,
yeah,
so that we can show that, how it could easily be forgotten. And again,
it
Jeff
can.
went to Kinkin, Dixie Outlet Mall, but
Hmm.
there, you can find Chinese bun anywhere in the
Oh,
GTA. Just put them into Google Maps.
yeah.
Actually, I haven't even tried it. Either put Chinese bakery or Chinese buns into Google
Yeah,
Maps and
and
see
like
what you
Ken said,
get.
if you go to like any Asian market like TNT, Nations, Foodie Land, Skyland, is that one
Skyland
of
has
like,
it, yeah.
yeah,
Al
yeah,
Premiums, Al Premiums would have
yeah,
it,
El
yeah.
Premium, thank you. Yeah, they'll have them
Definitely.
there for sure.
Like for sure,
That's
right?
it.
What
Mhm.
does I know it's not Filipino, but does FV have those or no? Maybe not, eh?
No, because
No. Okay.
they have the Shopao,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, ensamadas and empanadas, and
Absolutely.
yeah,
So
and
let's
everything
go. Okay,
else.
there we go.
There we go. All
So
right.
those of you that don't see a picture of Jeff and Diana picking up their Chinese buns, they decided to. You just went because you wanted some, or
Well, we actually were at Dixie Outlet Mall for something else.
okay.
And it's one of those malls that, has a Chinese bakery. The mall also has a Cinnabon, but we didn't go, believe it or not. So, but we picked up some Chinese buns because A, we were hungry. We were trying to figure out something to eat. And then also we noticed that they had an end of day sale.
Yeah.
So, which is pretty good. Like we mentioned before, these Chinese buns are pretty cheap on one side. Like usually it's 6 for $10, but most times the end of day sale you're going to get 10 for $13. So
Yeah.
a better deal right there.
So let's really do comparison there. Like if you went to Cinnamon, if you each got one, it would be about $10, right?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Right?
for sure.
It'd be about
Yeah.
10, maybe even $12. I haven't checked the price of a cinnamon because usually you just
Mhm.
order it, right? So you
Yeah.
could each have one bun, or you could each have six and a half for
Yeah.
$10.
That's
Right.
right.
And so that's that, and like you get all these different flavors.
Hmm.
Obviously, this one Cinnabon is going to be much more filling than one of those
Oh,
bakery, Chinese buns. But just to give you an example of that price point there, even if you didn't go with the end of day sale, $10 for six of them,
hmm,
man, that's three each. That's pretty
that's
fun
it.
to have. And so, kind of let's dive in there. So, there's Jeff. He's holding his buns there,
Yeah.
and there's a different assortment. The one that I can identify for sure is maybe this one in the front. Could be a
Yeah.
cinnamon. It looks like a cinnamon swirl.
There's a
The
cinnamon swirl. Yep.
one behind is one of the cream one that Jeff was
Yep.
describing earlier, maybe some cheese in the front. And when you pick up the buns, now were those in bins, Jeff, or were those loose?
So before COVID, they were actually loose. So
Okay.
they would just bake them fresh, bring them from the back, and put each bin. Each bin was marked what's inside, and it's easy. They had a tray of buns, so they just take the tray out, put the tray in, and
Yeah.
then they have these tongs that are available by the side, and then you just load your tray up, and then as you brought it to the cashier would individually bag them for you. Nowadays with COVID, once they bake them, they're cooled off a bit, and then they will bag them for you already,
Yeah.
which I hope will continue on even past COVID. Because it's a bit more sanitary. Like people might look like kids, especially want to open the thing, look, and they might sneeze or something. It's one of those risks, like in a buffet. But hopefully that they'll continue on with this procedure. Past the pandemic.
It's a little bit of a toss up for me because, yeah, it's a lot less sanitary to
Mhm.
have that, but just the impact on the environment is huge because each bun is now going to have a
Yeah, but
single
weren't they
plastic.
also? But didn't they bag each bun individually for you before? Like
No,
I
that
know
was
they
your
did that for me.
choice. That was your
Oh,
choice,
okay. I didn't know
right?
that.
Because yeah, the one at the atrium there, if you wanted to, you could bag each individual one as you kind of
Okay.
went along, but it was kind of your choice. Like
All
you
right.
could just put them in a bag.
All right.
So
I never know that. Like when I go, I remember it was Asia Court Mall. They just did it automatically.
oh,
So
really?
if I would have known, then
And
I
I
could
had
do it.
known, yeah.
Then I would
So
have chose that way.
So by looking at it, you could tell they're not labeled. We happen to know what they are because what they look like, but I can't identify all of them just
No.
because like and you would forget.
Oh
And
yeah.
so even this here, so those of you that can't see, they've arranged this. Oh, it looks like it's on your stove, right? I can see the stove in the
Yeah.
background, right? And so there's one that's cut in half, and then all these different ones are in a circle all around. We're not even going to attempt to identify them because there's an easier way of identifying them
Yeah.
later on. But why don't you want to comment on any of these right now, Jeff?
Well, yeah, there's some that you can tell right away what they are. Like we mentioned, the cream bun and then the cinnamon swirl. Actually, the one in between. So for those of you who can't see, it's basically a bun that has sort of like a crust on it.
Yeah,
I
almost
knew
like an
right
egg
away.
wash, right?
Yeah, no, it's a
Oh,
crust. It's actually
okay.
the pineapple bun.
Ah,
So they
okay.
actually took like pineapple filling or pineapple something, and they actually placed it. I think they put a small hole in the dough and they put the pineapple filling on top, and
Okay.
then baked it that way. So as it baked, and it would crust up on top.
Gotcha.
Knew that right away. The one to the left of the cream horn, you can see
Yep.
the hot dogs right
Yep.
away.
So
So you knew
there's
it was a
some
hot
hot
dog
dogs in
bun,
there. Yeah.
and I think there's a hot dog cheese bun. And
Yeah.
then the one that's basically right across from the cream bun that also looks like a football, there's cheese on top of that. So
Mhm.
right away, it's a cheese bun.
Yeah.
It's when you get into the circular ones that you have a more difficult time figuring out what they are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's one of those things like if you go, you can get one, but it's just like the more you get, the less they'll cost kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And it's
exactly right.
eventually to the point where it's like, well, if I just get four more, they're like only a quarter each. Or like I remember like it's like you get one, then you get two. It's like, well, you might as well get six now. Like once you
Yeah,
get two, you might as well get six. And I forgot how
exactly
that
right.
broke down.
Yeah.
And if you're just having it for the day, yeah, it's cool. Like you just get a kind of like, a
Mm-hmm.
dozen of them, and maybe you'll have two of them for breakfast and then another one after lunch or something like that.
Yeah,
And then you have more for later on. Or you could just get a whole pile of them double and you're stocked up for a couple of days, or like you're
that's
feeding more
right.
than one person. I've never thought about bringing this to kind of like a potluck or anything like that, but I guess you could, right?
You could,
Yeah.
but it's they are quite large.
Oh, you just
You
cut them in
know,
half, right?
cut them in half.
Yeah.
So yeah, the thing that is, so we mentioned how cheap they are, and the reason why they're so cheap, you can see the ones cut in half. It's the barbecue bun. There's not much filling usually in
No,
them. No, so
no.
you expect a lot of filling or something, but no, it's maybe less than not even a quarter of the actual bun is filling. The rest is just bun.
Yeah, it's mostly bun. It's not like,
Yeah,
when you get a jelly filled donut, there's a lot of jelly in there. It's not even like that. It is
no,
mostly bun and the filling is just enough to taste. So it's not
yeah,
like it's not like those steamed pork buns and and dim sum. So it's not
yeah,
like that at all. And
not at
even those
all.
steamed pork buns, there's not a lot. I wouldn't say there's a huge amount of filling in those either, but it's not even like
No,
that.
but there's way more than these baked buns. That's for
Oh,
sure.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
And so, well, okay, so that's what Jeff's pictures there. But we're going to show you. If you went to kinkinbakery.ca, you can
Hmm.
see under their feature products tab, we're going to go through their actual pictures. And I was actually thinking that they're going to be showing all of their flavors, but really they don't. They
No.
don't. And so this picture here is just a basket full of buns, and so I
Yeah.
don't I don't know why this is there, just because it's just labeled bun. But as we
Yeah.
go along, there's the chocolate bun, which I've never ever had. Have you ever had the chocolate flavor, Jeff?
I haven't, in fact. So the one thing about these bakeries, there are traditional flavors, but of course they're going to have some North American flavors to appease the whole audience.
Oh yeah,
And so chocolate bun is one of them. The cream bun for sure is one of them. Pineapple, not too sure if that's really traditional or not, but everyone likes it. Um, so yeah, let's go to the next picture.
yeah. Chocolate one, that one's a lot more identifiable,
Yeah.
and you could probably smells like chocolate,
Oh,
so you would
Ken,
know what
sorry,
that
I
one.
got to take another phone call. Hold on.
Yep.
Okay, sorry about that.
So
Okay.
in front of us, we got one. This one's a cinnamon bun. This one's a lot more identifiable. It looks like a cinnamon roll, and
Yeah,
if you smelt it, you'd probably smell like cinnamon, so you'd be able to identify it.
that's it.
And it's obviously, it's as we've talked about before. It's just gonna just enough to taste like a cinnamon bun. It's not going to be the overwhelming flavor like a
No,
Cinnabon,
that's
that
right.
you get
Yeah,
there.
and there's no glaze or anything like that. That's all you get.
Mhm.
It's not as good as Cinnabon, but at least like Ken said, the flavor is there. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Keep going along. This is a coconut dome. I actually have had something similar to this. I don't know if I've
okay,
had this one here, but this one, this I find the sweeter ones actually taste sweet versus the savory ones. They almost is like you wish there was a little bit more salt on them. What are
yeah.
your feeling on that, especially the sweet versus the savory
Oh,
ones?
yeah, exactly right. Like I said, most of it is the same dough
Hmm.
which they use because it's easier for them to make a whole bunch of dough and use different flavors. So of course, the sweeter dough would complement the sweeter buns better. And like, yeah, even the barbecue pork bun, because the barbecue pork is sweet to begin with as well. So it is sort of sweet on sweet. And you expect that with coconut or the cream bun. But then when you get the barbecue pork, you're like, yeah, I wish that had a bit more salt somewhere just to ease off the flavor.
Yeah, and so a bun like this, the coconut dome, this would be really good with a cup of coffee. Actually,
Mm,
really, really good with a cup of
yeah.
coffee. So that's the type of thing that I would enjoy here. Moving right along, this is the ever popular cream bun. This
Yep.
one is popular. Those buns are very, very soft, especially the cream one.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
and the cream is not I mean, it is a sweet cream, but not
Hmm.
overly sweet. It's
No.
almost like unsalted butter. Like it's that's how I think of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you could
It,
actually
it,
spread that around more and it would feel like it tastes like a buttered bun, and
yeah.
it's not that sweet, but
It's a hint
that's
of
one of my
sweetness.
favorite. One of my
Yeah,
favorite buns is this
it
one.
is. And
Yeah.
so we mentioned like the filling for most of the buns isn't that much, but the cream bun has a very generous portion of cream.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
almost
that's
every
good
bite
point.
will have cream in it. Yeah, so the cream bun, as you can see, like we mentioned, the most buns aren't that full. A cream bun is totally opposite, because the cream itself isn't that expensive, so they could afford to put more filling in this bun. Like almost every bite you have of this cream bun, you will get nice some cream with it along with the bun.
You know what? You're right, and I think that's part of the reason why it's so popular. It's probably one of their more popular ones, and why I happen to like it more
Yeah.
is because of there's a lot of filling ratio there
Oh
from the
yeah.
cream bun and on.
Yeah. And,
Next
and
one is
hold on, before you go, if you are getting this bun, make sure to put it on top of your bag. Don't put it on the bottom without the other buns.
yeah, because this one's,
Because,
even though
yeah,
they're all
because,
the same
yeah,
dough, this one seems a lot fluffier, and so it's going to
fluffier.
get crushed. Yeah,
And also the cream will get, on top
smeared.
of the wrapper. Yeah, will get smushed in the
Yeah,
wrapper. So you gotta make
yeah.
sure you put it on top and preserve it as much
Good
as you
point.
can.
That's a good point, and that's the only one you really got to keep on top. Now
Yeah.
that I think
Oh,
of
for
it,
sure.
yeah. Moving along, got the garlic cheese. Never had it. If that was
No.
available when I saw it, I'd probably try it because it looks good.
Yeah.
Looks like a really
Again,
good
this is
one.
more for the North American palate. It's not like a garlic ginger bun for traditional Chinese, but this is more like a Italian garlic cheese bun.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I would totally have one of those with like a plate of spaghetti or something, right?
Hmm.
This one very, very
Here we
Asian
go.
because it contains
Yes,
the red bean. This one has a surprising amount of filling in
it
it.
does. Well, it's not meat, so that's
That's
why.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have the meat filled ones aren't as generously filled. So this is a combination of the red bean with coconut with the pineapple bun on top. So
Mhm.
the red bean isn't very sweet, but with the pineapple, a big nice contrast.
Yeah, something my mom would like. I'm
Oh
sure that
yeah,
she would like that. Yeah.
exactly right.
Next one is something I've seen. Like I've seen the salty vegetable. I've just never picked it up because
No,
I've never wanted it. Like it's, and those of you that can't see it, it looks a lot like the cream bun maybe without the coconut, and the
yeah,
way it's split down the middle, and they kind of like fill in the crack there with some sort of green vegetable that I guess
yeah.
is salty, like a boiled, like it's not spinach, but it's like
You
it's
can't tell what it
you know
is. Like it could be anything.
yeah.
It's yeah, it could be like in most Chinese like cuisines, they don't waste any of the vegetables, so they'll put into something. They'll put into soups. They'll put into like any stir fry. And I guess this time they got some vegetables and put into a bun.
Yeah, absolutely. And then finally, the next one is it's called the sausage bun, but really it's a
Yeah,
hot dog. And sometimes you think the hot dog is going to go all the way through,
true.
and sometimes it's not. Actually, a lot of times
No,
it's not. It's only like halfway. It's like you think,
yeah,
oh, because there's those of you that can't see, right? There's a piece of hot dog sticking out the side of the bun, and it looks like that perhaps the rest of the bun is filled up with the rest of that hot dog.
No.
But oftentimes they'll just take the hot dogs and cut them in half, and just so this like the one end sticking out. So you only get
Yeah.
half.
So I'm pretty sure that those two buns have half a hot dog each
Yes, yeah. There's two of
inside.
them. Between the two of them, there's half, and so there's going to be one half of the bun that's just kind of
Yeah.
that beautiful, soft, sweet dough that everyone loves, or you should love if you're having the Chinese buns. If you don't
Yeah.
like them, then you won't get them again. But there's other flavors, like Jeff
Yeah.
mentioned before. The
Actually, Ken, sorry, before
barbecue
we
pork.
go on,
Yep.
if you can, for those of you who can't see, this hot dog bun has like either green chives or some sort of green garnish on top. I'm guessing that that's one of the ways to identify this hot dog bun from one that may have cheese inside. Like this could be just like a regular hot dog bun with nothing. If you have cheese inside, there might be cheese on top,
Yeah.
and cheese in the middle. So this again, this is one of those indicators that tell you that, oh, this what kind of bun this is.
Absolutely, yeah, because there could be, and I've had, the Chinese bun with the hot dog and cheese in it, and
Mhm.
so sometimes you can't tell what's what, and so that's why they put the different indicators. There's like some green chives on this one, there'd be cheese on the other one. Some other flavors that Jeff mentioned before is like they got the barbecue pork, like the sweet,
Yeah.
sweet pork that's there. That's probably one that I usually get, and you even mentioned that there might be like a curry chicken one.
Curry
Which
chicken. I've seen tuna salad
yes, the
bun.
tuna. I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I've
have you
seen
had
that.
those, Ken? Or you just seen them?
Have I had the curry chicken? I can't remember. I think I've actually had the tuna. So
Okay.
it
So
was
is it
okay.
like a North American tuna salad?
Yes.
Like okay.
Yeah.
So again, it's appealing to the North American palate.
Absolutely.
Than anything else. So
Yeah.
one flavor that we had that I'd never seen before, they actually had a cranberry cream cheese bun. So again,
Wow.
it's a focus on the North American palate, which is pretty good actually. It was actually generously filled with both the cranberry and the cream cheese.
Is that right? Cranberry cream cheese.
It's the one that's on the bottom left.
This one here?
With the sort of hole, cross hole there.
Yeah. Right, but you don't have to remember that. If you ever go to Kin, everything's well labeled. So you'll be able to find what's what. And you don't have to wait till the end of the day to go to get the 10 for 13 special. Well, that is a pretty good deal. Right?
It is.
Man, imagine going to the movies. Like you could easily spend $13 on snacks, or you can have 10 buns. Like I'm just saying, wow. Just thinking about that. It's like, I get a popcorn and maybe a drink, and that's like an easy $10, like for sure.
That's right.
Or you can
of course trying to sneak these into the movie.
That's true. Yeah, there we go.
And so, for sure, you would want these individually bagged, not just in one bag, would you, for the movies?
Well, okay, so let's talk about this. If these were individually bagged, the problem is the noise.
Oh, right. You're right. Okay.
Right? So if you didn't care what you got, you just kind of reach in there and grab and just, you're eating in the dark and you get surprised. If you're me or Jeff, you don't care, right? Because, you eat everything.
What the?
Yeah. But if you're picky, then you may want the individually bagged ones. But yeah, I would totally go for this. Like, if I was going to binge watch like a show, and instead of having a bag of chips or something, dude, get some Chinese buns and just have them there with some drinks. That'd be great.
That's
And
so, speaking of these locations too, so Kin is actually called Kin Bakery and Bubble Tea. So they do actually offer like bubble tea or the drinks are there. Oh yeah, look at all the locations they have everywhere. Yeah. So Scarborough. Oh wow! So there's 4 in Scarborough. So I could be wrong with the original location. But yeah, they're everywhere in the GTA.
Yeah, there's 4 in Scarborough, 2 downtown, 1 on Thornhill, 1 in Mississauga, 3 in North York, and another 2 in Brampton. And so there's not 1 in Square One, eh? No. I thought there'd be 1 there, right? Wouldn't be surprised if they are expanding because it's pretty popular. When I go there, it's never crowded. But it just seems like it's a place that's always in business. So I don't know. Yeah. And you know what? They sell more than the Chinese buns. I mean, they got bubble tea. They got shakes and things,
like
cookies
smoothies,
and
shakes, and so.
Have you ever had their pastries, Jeff? Like I don't even eat them.
I haven't, only because I know that they wouldn't be that sweet. maybe the cookies, like the egg tarts, we know. Oh, they do have mooncake. So
Oh,
if part of the moon festival, then they will have mooncake there.
yeah, but these like I always said these almost like almond cookie,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
dry.
they're good
Uh,
for coffee and tea because you could dip them.
yeah,
But I know the tarts and like at least egg tarts, yeah, they're not like the Portuguese tarts we mentioned before.
no,
These are very eggy tarts.
yeah, they're not, and I love eggs, but I
Yeah.
don't like that. As far as the shakes go, the mango shakes very mangoey, and
Mm,
the avocado smoothie. Wow, it's actually pretty good. Those of
okay.
you that haven't had avocado like for a dessert, that's just it's really good. Some people they think of avocado, they put them in sandwiches or part of guacamole, and they're totally on the savory side of things.
Mhm.
But I do like avocado shake is one of my more favorite things. So
Yeah.
yeah, and
There's
so they
bubble
have
tea. Yeah.
yeah, you get some
Or
yeah
bubble smoothie here.
yeah that
There
was a
we
smoothie that
go.
was taro right because it's purple. Yeah,
Yes.
taro slush with tapioca. Then they got
Hmm.
the milk tea,
Yep.
Hong Kong style milk tea. I love milk tea. I like warm milk tea. Actually Jeff and I were just talking about before the cast started. So I like my milk tea warm rather than cold, but that's
Hmm.
just a personal preference of mine. And so when you go, like, what's the one or two that you gotta eat? Like when you go and eat those Chinese buns, Jeff?
The cream bun for sure.
Yeah.
That's what I like. And the hot dog and the barbecue pork bun. That's traditional. And maybe one of the hot dog buns with cheese or something like that. So
Yeah. You know,
yeah.
one that we didn't talk about, there's like usually a ham and cheese, and I usually try and look for that one because I like
Okay.
that one. Like the
Yeah.
ham and cheese and the cream. The hot dog one surprisingly, I really don't get that one. I just disappointed
Okay.
that one, but
That's all
you
right.
know, everyone likes
There was
different
actually
things.
yeah, there's actually some that have egg inside as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like egg and ham or egg and cheese. If you are getting it, I strongly suggest that when you buy it that day, have it that day. Don't try to push it to the next day because the egg will sort of get a bit older and tougher and have that sort of older egg taste to it.
Good point.
So,
Good
yeah,
point. Yeah,
because
try
they are
and eat
freshly
them.
made each day. So,
Absolutely. I think part of the advantage is because when I used to eat them at the Asian court, like I would, because I worked downtown, I'd go there and they would really be like some of them would be warm. And
mm,
so, man, it's just so much, kind of like when you go to a bakery and like they give you a loaf of bread and it's still warm, that
yeah.
feeling you like it's so soft still. That's what I got from this place. Even though it's just baked fresh every day, it's always
Oh,
nicer,
yeah.
a little bit nicer when it's warmer. Still good, but just not as nice when they've cooled down. And of course, the
No.
next day, every day after the first day, they just kind of go down in quality.
Oh, yeah.
And so that is the difference. If you go to the Chinese, or not Chinese, but an Asian grocery store, like they're probably delivered there. They're not baked in
Yeah.
house,
Yeah. They are
and
delivered there.
they're probably a
I'm not
day
too sure the
old.
name of the bakery, but yeah, they're probably that morning. They're made that morning.
Mhm.
But yeah, they won't be refilled, or there's some in the back, so they won't be as fresh as if you go to an actual Chinese bakery for them.
Yeah, so a little bit. It'll taste a lot fresher, or maybe a
Hmm.
little bit. No, I'll say a lot fresher if you happen to get them at at a place like Kin Kin or a Chinese bakery.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But something that that we think is food worth mentioning. It's one of my favorite foods, and I never thought we would talk about it. I'm glad that you brought this up, Jeff, because it's something
Yeah.
that is certainly worth talking about. And let me just stop the screen share here. We've had a chance to talk about that. If you get a chance to try them, definitely do so. It doesn't have to be at Kin Kin. Again, we're going to put their website on the show notes. And if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, in the description of the video. But you could always go to any Chinese grocery. I was going to say Chinese grocery store, Chinese bakery, or an Asian grocery store to find them.
Hmm.
Obviously, the Chinese grocery stores going to get that better quality, that more freshness there. But if you're getting value from the podcast, whether you're just kind of getting entertained or whether you're actually loving our food recommendations, we invite you to either like, subscribe, share, comment, leave a review. It helps us get the word out and it makes it a lot easier for others to find us. Isn't that right, Jeff?
That is right. And if you have any recommendations for us to try, either food or recipes, let us know. And remember this quote from Julia Child: "People who love to eat are always the best people."
And that, of course, includes my brother, Chef Jeff Santos, and I'm his brother, Kenny Santos, and you as well, if you love to eat food worth mentioning. All right, thanks a lot, everybody.
All right. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
You've been listening to Santos Brothers Eat.
Food worth mentioning.